A college couple is gunned down while enjoying an evening under the stars in Jefferson National Forest. The killer left behind DNA, but is still unknown to law enforcement these 16 years later. Many questions remain, and the most puzzling one might be, why was this couple murdered in cold blood? Welcome to Morbid Outdoors, the podcast that ventures deep into the shadows of the wild. Here, we unravel the mysteries of missing persons, explore spine-chilling legends, and share the most morbid stories that nature has to offer. From the depths of the dense forests to the highest mountain peaks, we'll uncover the secrets that lie hidden in the great outdoors. Join us as we navigate the eerie, the unexplained, and the terrifying. So if you dare, grab your gear and let's embark on a journey into the unknown. This is Morbid Outdoors. Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. My name is Elise and I am your host. And I just want to tell you and remind you that I will be covering lesser known cases from here on out. Now, some cases will be popular or, covered before, but most of these cases still need coverage and highlighting, no matter if they've been covered a lot or not. This is one of those cases that I'm not sure if you have heard of before or not, but it is very, very important that this case gets attention because it is still unsolved. So if you're one of the few people that have said, I need to cover cases that are not covered very much, this is me doing just that. So I appreciate you listening. I'd appreciate a 5-star review, and I appreciate all the feedback I am getting. Morbid Outdoors isn't just true crime, but there are so many things that happen to people outdoors that need to be talked about. So thank you so much for just kind of making me realize, I need to do cases that aren't widely covered. So thank you for that input. Again, thank you. I'm just saying thank you a lot today, but I really appreciate it. If you want to hear about personal things, that's at the end of the episode. And let's dive into today's case. Today we are visiting Jefferson National Forest in Virginia. Now, this is a place where I have not been, so I don't know a lot about the terrain, but I did my research and we're going to discuss the National Forest today. Starting with negative reviews, someone named Sally left this review on Google. I do not live in the forest. Google has decided to mark a hayfield near my home as G&W, or George Washington and Jefferson National Forest. There is no public land near the marker. The National Forest is a very large multi-state forest. Ask someone else about it, in all caps. I don't know what that's about, but Sally is not happy that they marked a hayfield near her home as the National Forest. Someone else left a review and they said, I fell off a cliff here, 1010 would do again. And then the last negative review says, there are weirdos who go through people's things at night, with an emoji with a pew pew next to it. So interesting reviews about this national forest. So if you're unfamiliar with this area, as am I, for context, this national forest is barely west of Shenandoah National Park. Jefferson National Forest was formed on April 21st, 1936, by combining portions of the Unaka and George Washington National Forests with other land. In 1995, the George Washington and Jefferson National Forest were administratively combined. We see this happen with a lot of smaller national forests. It happens a lot, so this is not anything unusual. The border between the two forests roughly follows the James River. The combined forest is administered from its headquarters in Roanoke, Virginia. So everything sounds very historical because I think most of us know the story of how the United States came to be. Anyways, let's talk about how large this place is. This national forest covers 1.8 million acres, and it's one of the largest areas of public land in the eastern United States. So it's extremely vast. Most of this is in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia, Virginia, and Kentucky. And there are approximately 1 million acres of the forest that are remote and underdeveloped, and about just a little over 139,000 acres have been designated as wilderness areas, which prohibits future development. There are a few notable features of this national forest, and one of the biggest notable features is that the northern portion of the Blue Ridge Parkway actually runs through this forest. And if you know true crime, you know there's quite a few true crime cases about and on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Also, Virginia's highest point, Mount Rogers, is located in the Mount Rogers National Rec Area that is a part of this national forest. Other notable mountains include Elliott Knob, which has one of the last remaining fire lookout towers in the eastern United States, and White Top Mountain. So, also something that's very interesting about this national park or this national forest is that there are over 200,000 acres of old growth forests. Now, I dated a botany major in college, and I think that's a really cool fact. Not that I dated a botany major, but about the old growth forest, which that's pretty much like untouched, like original as is. Really, really cool about this area. There are over 2,000 miles of hiking trails, including segments of the Appalachian Trail that go through this forest. So lots of hiking, through hiking, day hiking, all kinds of stuff. Now let's talk wildlife and plants. So in terms of plants, there are over 50 species of trees and over 2,000 species of shrub and herbaceous plants. I think we all know that one of the biggest animals in this area and the most popular is the black bear. It is extremely common in this area, and if so, that there's a short hunting season to prevent overpopulation. If you've never eaten bear before, if you ever have the opportunity, I suggest you take it. I've had bear once, and it was very interesting. Now, there's also white-tailed deer, bobcat, bald eagles, weasels, river otters, martens, and other small animals that inhabit this national forest. This forest, like I said, has tons of hiking. It's got mountain biking and hunting. And like I said, the Appalachian Trail, actually, there's like 330 miles of that trail in this area. And I don't know, it's pretty close to, there's a lot of cities and everything kind of in and around this area. So this area, this national forest, gets a ton of visitors, especially in the region closest to Shenandoah National Park. Now, like Sally said earlier in her review, the Jefferson National Forest is located in 23 separate counties, more than any other national forest except the Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri, which lies in 29 counties. Specifically, the area we're going to talk about today is Montgomery County, and about 19,454 acres of this national forest comprise that county. Also, this national forest has over 2,300 miles of streams and basically around 200 recreation sites, such as campgrounds and picnic areas. So I just want to share a few Virginia fun facts. Virginia is known as the mother of presidents because 8 presidents were born there, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Obviously, if we can tell from the names of the national forest. Virginia was the first, largest, and most prosperous of the British colonies in America. So let's dive into the actual case. Now, this is a case that I had heard once before, just once, and it still is in need of coverage and highlighting because it is unsolved. So it's a lot like other cold cases. There seems to be so much evidence and so much that we know about this case, but it hasn't been solved yet. But I believe with all the evidence that they have, this case will be solved, and I'm hoping they can do that soon with the use of genetic genealogy. August 26, 2009 was a day that shattered many lives when a young college couple was found brutally murdered in the Jefferson National Forest. This is a truly heartbreaking story, and I want to apologize in advance if I choke up while I cover this, because that happens often to me when I record, and it's just, I don't know, it's just hard when there are cold cases. They just hit me so differently than solved ones or disappearances. So, we're going to talk about Heidi first. Heidi Childs grew up in Bedford County, Virginia, and was one of 8 children. She had a fun nickname. Her nickname was Smiley, for obvious reasons, and people always commented on her beautiful smile constantly. Heidi had many interests, from academics to sports, and man, she was like an all-star in sports. She ran cross country, played basketball for a church team. She did outdoor activities like camping, skiing, hiking. She loved her friends and loved her family. And the most of all her relationships that were important was her relationship with the Lord. She went on mission trips, she shared her faith with others, and she played guitar in the church band. Now, I'm not a very religious person, but David and Heidi were, and that is a huge source, and their parents are religious. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about their beliefs in this episode. I just wanted to state these were their for beliefs. It doesn't matter if you agree with them or not, but these are beliefs that David and Heidi and their families still have. So be respectful. Thanks. Heidi was 18 years old in 2009, and she was full of joy and loved her friends and family. Heidi was homeschooled, but she started taking college classes in 10th grade. Now, this might be odd to you if you don't know much about homeschooling, academics, but this is not shocking to me. I actually love this, and it seems like Heidi was a superb student and valued intellect and learning. David Metzler, he grew up in Campbell County, Virginia, and he had 3 sisters. A few of his interests were playing golf, watching football, and playing guitar. And in high school, he took a shop class where he learned to enjoy woodworking, and it was something that he had hoped to pursue more. One of his proudest achievements was building a beautiful gun cabinet. He was a hard worker, no matter the job, and he often had just various jobs like working at a golf course. He worked at a friend's plumbing business and even worked alongside Heidi at a local ice cream shop. That was also my first job. That was frozen yogurt, and anyways, David was a hard worker, and he kind of was like a jack of all trades. He was very into religion, just like Heidi, and church was a huge part of his life as well. They went to the same church, and they were both very active in their church home at Heritage Baptist Church. I saw online where it was reported that Heidi and David met at a church youth group in high school, but they actually didn't start dating until college. They both attended Virginia Tech, and they were sophomores in the year of 2009. So there was a lot of newness in their lives at this time. They were both sophomores, and they had this newfound relationship. They had known each other for a few years, just as friends. And like I said, they didn't get romantic until college. So there was just a lot going on for this young couple. Heidi was studying biochemistry, pre-med, and David was an engineering major. And I just want to say, can you say like power couple? They enrolled at this college 1 year after the tragic shooting. So this college, Virginia Tech and all of the students and staff had just gone through a really terrible time where many lives were lost. So not just, they're new to college and they have a new relationship. There was a shift in the culture at Virginia Tech after the incident that happened in 2008. So there was just all these feelings, and, it's really hard to navigate a time like that, in my opinion. But they were determined to have a great year, and they were excited to, just get another year of college under their belts. During their first year in college, David asked Heidi's father for permission to formally date his daughter. Quote, I remember that night. He was so nervous. He came to the door, and I was kidding with Heidi. I said, I'm going to give him a hard time. She said, no, Dad, don't. That's a quote from Don Childs, which is Heidi's dad. According to David's mother and reporting done by Tim Saunders for WBDJ7, quote, I can remember asking David, what do you like about Heidi? He just loved that she was always happy. She never complained. She never said ill things about people, end quote. After they started dating, they became inseparable. So, like I said, they were going into their second year at Virginia Tech. And Heidi actually, this is when she decided she would go pre-med. According to her parents, this is why they think David and Heidi headed out to the National Forest. Heidi might have wanted to discuss this revelation and how it might impact their college and relationship. Previously to this time, Heidi was not going to be pre-med. I don't know what her major was before, but this is something that she discovered and she was really excited about. She called her mom and excitedly told her mom that she wanted to do pre-med, but it might change things with her and David. I'm not sure exactly what, maybe length of school, but basically Heidi was ecstatic. So, August 26, 2009, the couple headed out around sunset and they went to the National Forest with their guitars. They got there around 8:25 in the night or evening, depending on how you view it. And they parked in the Caldwell Fields parking lot. Now, this area is a recreation area that was once popular with students and locals. It's popular because it's located off of a very frequented road near the university town of Blacksburg. Though the field itself is isolated, like I said, it's on a busy road and it's only about 20 minutes from the college. And the parking lot is not obscured from the road. So it's kind of just like if you're driving by, you can see this parking lot. It's right there. The reason why they went to the Caldwell Fields parking lot is because David had been to the area previously for a men's retreat and wanted to show Heidi the beauty of this area. He brought his guitar and he wanted to play it around a campfire for her. Now, I don't know if this is seeming strange to you, but it shouldn't be. Many teens spend their evenings or nights in parking lots or just driving around. This is basically what I lived for in high school when I wasn't working. I grew up right outside of Hot Springs National Park, and the cool thing to do was to drive around downtown, up on West Mountain, or hang out with friends in parking lots. I spent many a night in the Lowe's parking lot, which sounds so stupid. I think we all know teens just kind of like to get out and be together. And I don't know, yeah. So this isn't strange that they're going out to this parking lot. I don't think they had planned to do anything except play guitars and talk and kind of plan their lives together, Heidi and David were obviously very much in love, and Heidi was taking David into consideration, their future into consideration when she changed her major to pre-med. The next day, August 27th, 2009, a man walking his dog stumbled upon the grisly scene. Still in the parking lot were both Heidi and David, and they were both dead. David's body was found inside of his car, which was a 1992 navy blue Toyota Camry. Heidi was found outside of the car, close by on the ground. Heidi's purse, which contained her cell phone, camera, college ID, and credit cards, was missing from the scene. They were deemed to have been murdered the evening before. Online, their time of deaths are listed as being between 8:25 p.m. and 10 p.m. They were killed with a .30-30 rifle, and DNA was recovered at the scene, but I could not find anywhere that said what kind of DNA was recovered. I also am not a pew pew expert, so I did a little digging online about 30-30 rifles, and it's a hunting rifle. And they have quite a pretty long range of 150 yards. It's apparently popular in deer hunting and bear hunting. And I don't know, I just think that this is interesting because this most likely was not a hunting accident. Um, I mean, I guess anything's possible. However, I don't believe these murders were on accident. David had been shot through the driver's side window, and Heidi had been shot in the face. And this is very gruesome, but I want to get the facts out there because I feel like when things kind of gloss over and sugarcoat true crime, it makes it easier to swallow. And this should not be easy to hear. This is an unsolved crime. These kids were brutally murdered, and we don't know why, and we don't know who. So it was a very, very brutal slaying. Now, the entire community was absolutely rocked and shattered by this news. This university had just had a mass shooting the year before, and now there are 2 students that have been gunned down in cold blood. David and Heidi's families were absolutely shattered. And prior to the first press conference in March of 2012, there were very few details released about the murders. Basically, the only thing that the police made public was the location of the bodies, and then that's it. And in March 2012 was the first press conference where investigators revealed that there was DNA evidence left there by the killer, and they also said what gun was used, which was a 30-30 rifle. During this press conference, Montgomery County Sheriff Witt requested the public's help in identifying the owners of 6 vehicles. The first one is a green sedan, possibly a Ford Taurus or Dodge Intrepid. This was seen stopping in front of residences on Craig Creek Road around 6 p.m. The second one is a dark blue Dodge Caravan that was seen parked near the border of Montgomery and Craig counties near a logging site around 8:30 p.m. The third was a dark-colored van or minivan that was parked at Caldwell Fields after dark. The fourth was a dark-colored Ford Crown Vic of Chevrolet Caprice, and it was seen driving on Craig Creek Road around 10 p.m. The fifth is a red or red and white Dodge extended cab pickup with dual exhaust, oversized tires, and tinted windows that was seen driving up Lee Road around 11 p.m. directly across from Caldwell Fields. And the last one they're seeking information on is a gray or cream-colored early 2000s modeled Pontiac Bonneville parked near Caldwell Fields around midnight. So it seems like there were a lot of people in this area around the times that the murders occurred. And I just think that's absolutely wild that there were several cars in this area and even in the parking lot when this occurred, but no one's come forward to say that they saw this murder happen. Now, Heidi's purse and all of her belongings, except guitar, those were all taken, and those have not been found, and they have not been located to this day, 16 years later, 15 and a half. Now, investigators at this press conference said, "We have DNA evidence. We are actively and aggressively pursuing you. We will not rest until you are apprehended." They obviously were speaking directly to whoever shot David and Heidi. There was another press conference in 2019, and Lieutenant Lyon said the Virginia State Police are still actively searching for the killer or killers. He went on to say, quote, "We still need the public's help to fit these pieces together. We know there are people in Montgomery County and across the New River Valley who know exactly what happened the evening of August 26, 2009, in that parking lot at Caldwell Fields at the edge of Jefferson National Forest," end quote. You're probably thinking about theories right now, as am I. I think the most popular theories are that David and Heidi might have seen something they shouldn't have, whether it be illegal hunting, drug related, gang related, I'm not sure. That is always a possibility when someone is shot in cold blood. At least it always comes to my mind. Another theory is crime of opportunity. Was this someone that just was out driving around with their gun in their truck, which is not weird if you are from certain parts of the United States? Did they just want to shoot someone? I mean, that is super, super messed up, but there are messed up people out there. Another theory, and the one that's least likely, I think, is a jilted lover. Was someone interested in Heidi and jealous of David? I don't know. No one's come forward. None of her family members or his family members have said anything about a possible jilted lover. And Heidi never told her mom or siblings anything like that. So this theory seems less likely to me, at least. So if they have DNA and the DNA hasn't matched to anyone, does that mean that they've never entered into the justice system? I think it's just shocking that this is a cold case, even though they have DNA, and it's not like the 70s. We're talking 2009 and now 2025. I don't know. It was this year before I learned that not all states collect DNA from criminals upon entry or exit into jail. And basically, Virginia is one of those states where you have to do it. I found, lots of words, but saliva or tissue sample is required for DNA analysis after arrest for a violent felony in Virginia. So it seems like if this person had entered the criminal justice system, they would have had a DNA match, but obviously they don't. So what I'm assuming is that this person that left the DNA, which is likely the killer, has not ever entered the criminal justice system in Virginia. Now, the Virginia State Police, the investigative team, they believe that there are maybe lots of people out there that know what happened the night David and Heidi were murdered, and that these people haven't come forward. Quote, "There are relatives or associates of the offender who have learned concerning things in the intervening years or have held on to secrets all this time. The odds are very high that the offender has put his family and friends, through no fault of their own, in the awful position of knowing things about that night. We don't want those individuals to be reluctant to come forward," end quote. So it sounds like maybe they even have a person of interest, but not enough evidence to charge them. This is one of those cases where I think about it often. Ever since I first heard about it, it's just heartbreaking. And I really hope that justice can be brought to David and Heidi and their families. According to an article for WDBJ by Tim Saunders, the Metzlers said their faith has also guided them through a place of forgiveness for the unknown person that killed their son. Quote, "God has forgiven my incredible load of sin," said Keith Metzler. "We would love to share how they can be forgiven and to extend our forgiveness to him as well." Heidi's family, I think, feels the same way from what I read online. I will never be able to understand how certain families forgive the people that killed their child. I think that speaks volumes about their faith, whether you believe in that stuff or don't. I just think it's incredible that they have chosen to forgive this unknown assailant. But I just know that they still need justice for David and Heidi. Like I said, this case is still unsolved despite them having DNA, and what seems like they're kind of just waiting on someone to talk. I think and when I say they, I think the team, the investigative team, I think they know who did this, but I don't think they can do anything about it until someone comes forward. So, if you know anything about the murders of David Metzler and Heidi Childs, the FBI is involved, and the U.S. Marshals and the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's them with a whole bunch of other agencies. You can submit tips at vspunsolved.com, and I'll link it in the description. The state police also have a telephone tip line for the case at 540-375-9589. There is a $100,000 reward out for any information leading to an arrest. Like I said, David and Heidi deserve justice. As always, recreate responsibly, and remember, sometimes the great outdoors aren't always great. Thanks for listening to Morbid Outdoors. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, make sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. It's free, easy, and it helps us out immensely. When you subscribe, you get updates on our latest episodes, and it also boosts our visibility, making it easier for other curious souls to find us. Another great way to support Morbid Outdoors is by leaving us a review. Whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, a quick review helps us know what you love about the show. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Morbid Outdoors Podcast. You can email us case suggestions and your campfire stories at morbidoutdoorspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much for the support, and I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, if you stayed this late, thanks so much. In terms of personal outdoors, oh my gosh, it's another snowy weekend here in the Salt Lake Valley. I don't know what I was thinking when we decided to move to Salt Lake area. There's so much snow, and this winter has actually been mild, and I'm still feeling like I'm going to go stir crazy. I don't know. I'm meeting up with some friends for tea tomorrow, so that's super fun, but not really doing a lot outside because I don't love the snow. In terms of podcast things, I am thinking of launching a Patreon with extra content, and I was wondering if anyone would be, interested in that. I would do a bonus a month, and then I'm thinking about doing a segment that's like nature news. So like nature news, whether it be good, whether it be bad, not like global warming stuff, but I mean like true crime, true crime and nature. I was thinking about doing, like 2 to 3 extra episodes per month. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I love when the podcasts I listen to have extra content. I gladly pay for that because I consume so much content. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this something that you'd be interested in, or how do you feel about that? So let me know, good or bad. I love to hear what you guys think. I have a special collaboration happening in March with another podcast, and I'm so excited because I really look up to these people. I think they're total badasses. I am excited that they wanted to collaborate with me, and so we are in the process of getting that episode kind of like outlined and written. It's not really going to be a morbid episode, but rather an uplifting one. So just stay tuned for that. Also, don't be surprised if I drop random episodes like bonus ones into your feed starting in March. I have, little mini-sodes that, these cases need to be solved. They're cold cases, but there's not enough information to make it a full episode. So keep an eye out for some extras. In terms of travel, something that happened that was crazy, Airbnb decided to remove my account. Now, I've been using Airbnb for 8 years. I have over 20 reviews of myself as a traveler, and they're all positive. So if you have an Airbnb account, you need to make sure they're not going to remove you because they did it basically without warning. I had to file an appeal. I freaked out because I have reservations on there for travel this summer and this fall, and so I was able to get it restored, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. That might happen. I don't know why it happened to me. It was very, very strange. Also, yesterday was Valentine's Day. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 15th. And if you like the podcast and you like Morbid Outdoors, and if you are listening, I assume you do. If you have not watched the show Yellow Jackets, you need to watch it. Season 1 is on Netflix, but if you have Paramount Plus with, I think, Showtime, I'm not sure, you can watch all 2 seasons, and then season 3 just started dropping yesterday, and it is so good. So, anyways, I hope that you guys have a great week. Have a great weekend. Get outside, get that fresh air, go on a forest bath, bathing experience, and stay safe, everyone. All right, thanks for listening. Let me know in the comments about Patreon or anything else you want to share with me. Bye.